It's been 15 years since Sinestro appeared on screen. Lanterns Episode 2 finally brings him back, and within seconds of reuniting with his former student, he's already manipulating him. Here's who Sinestro really is, why he's locked in a cosmic prison, and what his first cryptic warning about John Stewart actually means. This video contains spoilers. Ulrich Thomsen makes his debut as Sinestro this episode, the first live-action version of the character since Mark Strong played him in the 2011 Green Lantern movie with Ryan Reynolds. Thomsen is a Danish actor probably best known to American audiences from Banshee, The Celebration, and HBO's own The Young Pope. And it's worth noting this is officially a recurring role for at least Season 1, not a lead part. Before Thomsen even appears on screen, his presence is felt. Hal keeps saying Sinestro's name while sleeping earlier in the episode. We eventually learn why. Sinestro tried to take over the Green Lantern Corps by force, going as far as killing one of the Guardians of the Universe in the process. Hal was the one who had to stop his former mentor's coup, which is how Sinestro ended up in the cosmic prison we see at the end of the episode. Naming him before showing him is a smart structural choice. It builds Sinestro's weight through Hal's subconscious before the show ever puts him on screen, which makes the eventual reveal land harder. And having Hal be the one who personally took down his own mentor gives their dynamic real history and real pain, rather than just, here's the villain. Hal visits Sinestro specifically to ask what he knows about Manhunters. Sinestro doesn't answer directly. Instead, he immediately pivots and asks Hal about John Stewart. Essentially, if a Manhunter still existed, it would be the second greatest threat you're currently facing. So why don't you tell me about John Stewart? That's an incredibly loaded response for someone locked in a cosmic prison to give. He's implying John himself might be the bigger threat, and he's doing it within seconds of reconnecting with Hal after presumably years of separation. This is Sinestro fully in manipulation mode from his very first line of dialogue, and it's genuinely unsettling how quickly he pivots the conversation toward planting doubt. Hal's search for Manhunter information stems from John being kidnapped earlier in the episode by aliens hunting one down. In DC lore, Manhunters were the galaxy's first line of defense, created by the Guardians of the Universe before the Green Lantern Corps existed. The problem was, they were built as deadly, empathy-lacking machines, and they eventually turned on the Guardians themselves, causing massive destruction across the cosmos before being mostly wiped out and replaced by the Green Lantern Corps. A force built on the emotional spectrum specifically to fix that design flaw. Per Antaan's explanation in the episode, Manhunters in this show are synthetic beings capable of taking the form of any species, which lets them embed inside a community undetected before turning on it entirely. And crucially, Episode 2 reveals it was a Manhunter that killed Abin Sur, the original bearer of Hal's ring. That last detail recontextualizes Hal's entire origin story. He didn't just stumble into becoming a Green Lantern by chance. The very reason Abin Sur died and passed the ring to him traces directly back to this same threat resurfacing now, a decade before Hal's death in 2026. That's the kind of connective tissue that makes a mystery show feel genuinely planned rather than improvised week to week. Episode 2 flips the script on the aliens introduced in the premiere. The ones killed at the football field were actually shot by William Macon's people, tracked down using an alien detector disguised as a metal detector at the venue entrance. But the aliens themselves, led by Paul Ben Victor's Antaan, aren't the threat Episode 1 made them look like. Antaan's entire species, save for his group, was wiped out by a Manhunter, which he forces John to witness through advanced technology injected directly into him. Not knowing that it was actually a Manhunter who killed Abin Sur and set Hal on his own Green Lantern path, Antaan's people believe Hal is protecting the Manhunter they're hunting. They give John 48 hours to find it before they destroy Rushville entirely. This is a genuinely strong twist, recasting last episode's apparent antagonists as traumatized survivors with an understandable, if misguided, grudge. It also raises the emotional stakes considerably, since Antaan's threat isn't cartoonish villainy, it's grief-fueled desperation from a man watching his entire people get wiped out. That's a much more compelling conflict than a generic alien invasion plot. Hal sends John to his Coast City mansion to retrieve his power battery and recharge his ring, which gives us a few fun character beats. Hal apparently owns a pet plant named Earl, and John finds an entire closet of Green Lantern suits, one of which he brings back as a surprise gift. It's also worth noting Hal actually gets shot and arrested for trespassing and stealing bodies from the morgue earlier in this episode, before donning that classic suit and flying off to confront Sinestro. The Earl detail and the suit closet are small, human touches that do a lot of work establishing Hal as someone who's been doing this job for a very long time and has settled into odd, lived-in habits because of it. And Hal getting arrested mid-investigation is a nice reminder that this show is leaning hard into its true detective comparison. Even a cosmic space cop still has to deal with very earthbound consequences. The biggest reveal at Hal's mansion is that his power battery is stored in a pocket dimension. That's not just a lantern's detail. It's now the third time this exact concept has shown up across James Gunn's DCU. Superman used a pocket universe as Lex Luthor's prison, one that nearly destroyed Metropolis when a portal collapsed. Peacemaker Season 2 sent John Cena's character through the quantum unfolding chamber and eventually to a prison planet called Salvation. 3 projects using pocket dimensions as a structural device isn't a coincidence. It strongly suggests this concept is going to be one of the connective threads tying DCU Chapter 1 together, possibly building towards something bigger down the line, worth watching closely across every future release in this universe. Episode 2 also confirms Sheriff Kerry is from Gotham City, and her surname, Kane, is doing a lot of quiet work for anyone paying attention to Batman lore. The Kane name has deep roots in Batman's world. It's Bruce Wayne's mother's maiden name, and it's also connected to Kate Kane, DC's Batwoman. The show hasn't confirmed any direct link yet, but planting that surname this deliberately feels like more than coincidence, especially in a universe actively building toward wider connections. Trust Fall does a lot of heavy lifting for only its second episode, introducing Sinestro, recontextualizing Antaan's people, tying the Manhunter threat directly back to Hal's own origin story, and quietly reinforcing a DCU-wide storytelling device. It's a slower, more grounded episode than a typical superhero show might deliver, but for a series explicitly built to feel like true detective in space, that restraint is working in its favor so far. Drop a like if you're already piecing together the Manhunter mystery. Subscribe for every Lantern's episode breakdown,